Welcome to a new video here, Play and Explain 25NL on PokerStars. I hope that we are doing better here than in the last few days, although I'm faced with a big decision here by this guy who is quite loose, and I think because he made it so small, I called with 9 high here. Now he makes it half pot, and I have pretty much nothing but 9 high, so it's an easy fold. Yeah, I'm in the middle, or hopefully towards the end, of a really gigantic downswing. 21 buy-ins, which maybe is not that much for many people, but me as a live player predominantly, for me this is actually huge. I've never had anything like this in live poker. I've never really had more than just 4 buy-ins down or something like that, although it's not going well there either. But I'm not here to complain. I am here to try to turn it around. And actually tomorrow, January the 17th, you'll find a video of mine showing me going through a lot of the hands where I lost big pots, and I just tried to see whether it was bad luck or if I played poorly, and I don't want to spoiler it, so just have a look for it when it comes out. It's called a leak finding session, and there you can see my analysis. Here we're in the big blind. Well, I was gonna say we have a call, but we don't now that the small blind 3 bets. And let's see how it goes. The last few sessions, what I noticed is that I got 3 bet all the time. And this might just be a new trend that players are getting more aggressive at 25NL. I don't know. Have you noticed anything like this? It might just be a blip, really. Just got sensitized to it. But I've just noticed that it's become quite aggressive. And I've just been running really bad. I've had so many times that I had queens against kings or queens against aces or something like that, and rarely the other way around. But as I said, I'm not here to complain, even though it sounds like it. I want to make good decisions here, and this is one where I am going to just 3-bet ace-9 suited here on the button against the low jack open, against a player who the 2 times I've seen him be 3-bet, he folded both times. Let's see if it happens again. No, we get 4-bet here. Obviously this is a fold, and once again more aggressive. It does seem to be a thing here, but let me know if you have seen anything similar. Look, we're getting 3-bet once again. It's just I can't seem to be able to open a pot without getting 3-bet. It's just pretty standard. Also I got 4-bet there. Here king 6 suited is a fold against pretty much any bet from anywhere. 8-6 suited is a hand that some players might like to play, but there are most likely not winning players because definitely in early or middle position this hand is way too weak. King 10 suited on the other hand on the button. We have a raise and a call. This is a very easy one to squeeze. I'm going to 9 big blinds here, make it a bit bigger. Could even have gone 10 actually. And I fully expect to get 4-bet here by flop birdie. Yep, exactly. I mean, this is really, it's getting ridiculous here. Like all the time, 3-bet and 4-bet. And this, I'm not sure. I mean, he made it quite small. I can peel here. I will peel here and see how it goes. But it's king 10 on queen 6-5. And with him c-betting, I just have to fold again here. I'm not even sure if this was a peel. I will have to look it up later, whether king 10 suited after a squeeze is a peel there, but he made it so small and we had position, but then again we are of course dominated by ace king. Here 6-4 off is just a little bit too trashy to call, even though we do have position. I think it wouldn't have been a mistake to call, but it's definitely not great either. So yeah, another rough start here to this session. I just can't seem to be able to catch a breath. Well, now I get aces. Let's see, the last 5 times or so I had aces. Every time I only got folds. And well, at least this time we do get 3-bet here, and we have to 4-bet this time. A little bit of time here. He actually made it quite big, so this usually doesn't sound like he's very strong. Could be ace king, but the way he folded, I think he just had nothing there. But yeah, for the first time in a while that we actually got a little bit of action when we had aces, so I cannot complain about that. And this is a super tight player here, only 3%, which is why I will just fold, because I don't think I can even make a lot of money out of him. If he had made it smaller, I would have called there with pocket eights, but pocket eights is only a marginal hand there anyway. It's basically 0 AV to call or to fold, and against such a tight player, I think it's just better to fold. But again, I think this was the first time here now with king 8 suited that I did not get 3-bet after an open. Seven-5 off is similar to the 6-4 off we had earlier. Against the min raise and the cutoff, it's very, very close because we're getting better than 3-1, although now actually at least I don't have to make that decision. Yeah, queen 10 suited could be a 3-bet. I am going to 3-bet here against this unknown player in the low jack, so this is obviously the very bottom of my 3-betting range, and I would not be shocked if I got 4-bet here, because this seems to be what's happening, but not this time. We get it through. Come on, guys. We're turning a corner here. Well, let's see. Famous last words. By the way, I had to move to another room here now, which is why you can see a slightly different background, because in my other room the internet reception was so bad that YouTube kept telling me that my internet connection is not good enough. So I've come here now and hopefully it is better. But let's see if we're getting 3-bet again here. Whew, we got this one through. I'm actually really happy now, even if I can just get the blinds, because as I said, I've just had such a bad run. It is absolutely incredible that now I'm really happy about the small things in poker. Just getting the blinds, 1.4 blind, and I'm happy. Now, see, getting raised once again here by a player. I don't have a lot of info on him. This again, but because he makes it quite small, I will call. But this is again another one of those that's actually break even and not better than break even here. He goes with what I think is a range bet. I have second pair. I definitely want to call there. The deuce is very neutral, doesn't change anything. If he goes for a big bet here, which he would do with a good ace or king, queen or something like that as a bluff, I have to fold, unfortunately. This is pretty big and it's an unknown player, so no reason to stick around any longer. This one will definitely have to fold. Pocket deuces, low frequency raise in the cutoff. I'm just trying my luck and it works this time. King queen off, always an open here. In any position. So we don't really seem to get a lot of calls here, if you've noticed. So tonight, I mean, only 76, 77 hands played, but so far it's been either 3-bet or folds. Now we have pocket kings. Let's see if we get the chance. No, we do not get the chance to play a pot with pocket kings because everyone can see that we have pocket kings and they just fold. This is just really my luck. Ace-3 off, by the way, is just underneath the threshold for opening. I would sometimes open it on the button, but not against an aggressive big blind. So just decided to fold there. Well, at least we get a walk with king 7 offsuit as well, not only with pocket kings. Some not so playable hands now. King 7 off, definitely also a fold here in the cutoff. I'm thinking of potentially including 2 tables here. Let me know what you think. I know other streamers do it, but as a viewer, I sometimes find it a bit difficult to follow the action. Definitely if it's more than 2 tables, but I think I might be able to have another table here, so then we can get into a few more spots, I guess, which would be nice. Here, pocket 10s, we have to 3-bet obviously, and we get 4-bet by this player. And pocket 10s is a tricky one here. I think in these positions it's fine to just jam, even though it's an unknown, and we get called by ace king, which is okay. And look at this flop, not the very best. Obviously we lose another flip here because this is what we've been doing for weeks. Now we have ace-king ourselves in the very next hand. So by the way, I'm happy with my play there. I think that was fine. But yeah, just running bad once again. King jack off, I mean, normally it's an easy call, but he makes it 3.5x. And this guy now just jams. I just want to see what they have. So guy with 3.5x raise, the low jack does not snap, he actually folds there. Fair enough, we don't get to see their hands. I would have called there with a king jack if the small blind hadn't raised. King 10 off, we can definitely open. I'm being a bit quiet here because there's not much going on. And Obviously, this is a fold to any sneeze at the pot. Ace check, we can open. And we get 3-bet once again for a change. And ace jack off is definitely a fold in any position. Well, except on the button there you can 4-bet as a bluff. But other than that, it's always a fold. Yeah, not many interesting spots so far, but we still have a bit of time. So let's hope we will get into a few interesting ones. King Jack, we open. This is another hand that we will snap fold if we get 3-bet, but it gets through here. So as I said, it seems so nitty but aggressive. So we either get 3-bet or we just pick up the blinds. There is hardly anything in between. I can not really remember that any of my pre-flop bets just got called. See? Now, look at this, now that I said it. Okay, on this board, I am happy to just bet here. I could have checked with my ace-10, but on king 9-3, it's fine. Here, I can't really represent much, except I could have a king, but then I would have to bet big. I'm happy to just call, to just check behind now. And when he bets here, I'm wondering what bluffs he has, and I don't think he has any bluffs. So, and I can't credibly represent much here, so I have to fold, unfortunately. The thing is, like, with these boards that are good for me, if I have an ace high, I don't have to bet all of them, but I discovered that one of my leaks was that I didn't c-bet enough, and because I now know that most players actually still overfold to c-bets, which is crazy in 2024, but it still happens and it's backed up by data that I've seen, and because of that, I think if I'm on the fence, I will go for the more aggressive action, hence, or aka the c-bet, because I think it just performs a bit better than checking and then letting the player potentially bluff me off ace high on the turn. So yeah, this session so far doesn't look like it will be a turnaround, but it's mainly down to that one pot where we flipped and I lost it with 10s against ace king. Ace 8 off. We could have considered 3-betting if the small blind had opened. King 5 suited, we will definitely open here in the small blind, and straight away we're getting 3-bet by a tight player, and we have to fold again. Now, having had lots of unplayable hands, we finally pick up a playable one. Here against the button raise, we can call. On this flop, if he goes for a bet, which it does, even though it is small, then I do have ace high, but I don't really have backdoors or anything. So yes, I do have a backdoor straight draw there with a 9, but this is just a fold, unfortunately. So I am finding the folds, I'm happy about that, but at the end of the day, folds won't make me rich. King Jack suited, early position. We get called by the button, and the flop is as bad as it could be for the low jack raiser. I fully expect him to bet, which he didn't do. So I wonder what he has, but I think now it's time for me to just go for a big bet here, because I expect him that if he had a pocket pair, he would have bet that on the flop. So he might have had ace high or possibly even just some suited connector that didn't connect with his board. So that's why I was happy to just go for the bet there, and it worked this time. Yeah, poker is so much easier against weaker and more transparent players, isn't it? And 25NL has actually got relatively tough. I wouldn't say that it's a tough game, but on PokerStars 25NL Zoom, it's not a super easy game. It's full of regs, and even though they might not be the best regs in the world, they're still regs. They won't make terrible mistakes. They will make the odd mistake here and there, but in general, they're okay. And then rake is very high, so it is a difficult game to beat. Like, you have to be pretty good at poker to beat this game before rake back. Doesn't help if you get, or it does help if you get pocket queens, but let's see what happens. We got a call in the small blind, and we get a call in the big blind as well. This is not a great board, and small blind donks. You normally shouldn't have too many donks there. At this point, should I raise here? I think I'm okay with just calling. The board pairs, and he now goes half pot again, but this could still be pocket sevens, pocket eights, pocket nines, some mergy, and it doesn't have to be a set, or in this case now a boat or trips. Let's see what the big blind does. He folds, so I think I have an easy call here, as I still beat a lot of merges. And now when he checks, I feel quite confident that I have the best hand. It's just a question of how big to go here. Let's go something like this, which is a little bit over a half pot. And we get called by a player with a purple tag, which is a weaker player. And he had Jack 6. Okay, yeah, well, makes sense, although obviously he should never have called Jack 6 suited there. And then double donked and check called the river, but we will not complain at all. This is the first hand that's really gone our way here with the pocket queens, so very happy about that. Thank you to the ladies. King 7 suited will be an open if Jason makes up his mind. Yep, finally does. And we get raised again by a rather tight player. And we have to fold. Queen Jack off, just on the cusp with this one. I'll fold it in this case. Could have opened it, and it's quite indifferent in that position. Here, a6 off is obviously a fold. Yeah, maybe next time I will try to play two tables at the same time, because we will get in a few more spots. Because here, sometimes, like here now, I just have to wait for these players to act, and it can take 10 or even 20 seconds where I can't even fast fold. and it's quite annoying. Here, queen deuce suited, I think, is just about outside the GTO opening range. Queen 3 would be the one to go for as the bottom, but I think I'm fine. Here I could c-bet, but this was one where I choose not to c-bet. And now on the flush completing turn, I want to check again. If it hadn't been the queen of spades, but another queen, I would have gone for value there, even though my kicker is terrible. But I think now I can try to go for value, and I can go pretty big, b75. I go even a little bit bigger. Let's make it 4.4 big blinds here, and getting hopefully looked up by a jack or a 9 or some pocket pair that didn't connect with the board. El Mako calls and mucks. It's funny that he's called El Mako and then he mucks. And yet pocket fives, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to get called by. A pocket pair that didn't connect with the board. So at least we're getting some value here with our river bets. Ace queen. Yes, that's what I meant. There are just players that are just tanking a little bit too much. This guy shapes up to be a little bit passive. Okay, so this is a flop that I will bet one big blind here because I am smashing this board. Here, I think he is a very passive player, but if he has some sort of an ace here, he might call again, but not this time. I will tag him as a rather passive player. I don't think he is a reg because regs typically don't call in the hijack seat. Queen 10 off against a player who is shaping up to be quite active here. We call against the min bet, but we will just check fold here, despite having 2 overs, but there is nothing really that we can do. I'm not going to check raise here. If I had suited version of this, I would have considered continuing in some shape or form because I would have had 2 backdoors and 2 overs, but with only the backdoor straight and 2 overcards against an early position raise, even though I think by judging from his stats that he is not on the tight side, so he might well have been opening with more of a button or cutoff range rather than an early position raise, but still, I don't think that's a thing to float there. You saw me fold pocket threes in the small blind, so I do not have a cold calling range in the small blind usually. There are exceptions, you will see me do that sometimes, but not with a hand like pocket threes and not against a late position open, unless it's a fish that opens very big and I have a good hand like king queen suited like I had earlier. King jack off. This is a hand that we can raise as a bluff here on the button. Only to get 4-bet again probably. No, we get called this time. And this is such a good range for us that we can just go very small here, less than third pot, and we pick it up this time. This is great. So yeah, our red line for non-showdown winnings has not been that great here, but I think we did well. We made a few thin value bets, but we got called, so those will be booked as showdown winnings. And then we had to fold a few hands. Here, ace queen off is a close one, but I will go for the more passive option here this time. On this board, I don't really want to donk on a paired board. Here, this another 6 comes in. I will check, and looks like he has some showdown value here. I don't have a lot of showdown value, even though I have ace queen, but he might have a pair that's not too great. If he bets here, and he bets big here, so I wonder why he just checked twice. What do I beat here? That he wouldn't turn an ace into a bluff here, I think. So he might well have a 10, or he has ace king. Even that, he might not have bet that big. So I don't think I beat a lot here. Like, call me a nit, but what do I beat? Like, just a bluff, but why didn't he bluff earlier on these cards? I think it's close, but I will fold this one. King 10 early position is not a good enough hand. I know it looks good, but it looks much better than it actually is. So let's play for another 5 minutes or so, and then we can wrap it up. It will probably not be a very successful session once again, but we did not get many good hands, or at least not in big pots. Did manage to get some value, but overall just still not a great session once again. And 9 off is just about to continue here, but not super happy about it. Here with flop bottom pair, and this is a board where he should actually go big or check. Doesn't have a lot of small bets, but I guess he does have some. I will call here because he made it small, but he'd only see bets 56% of the time here. Now he sizes up, and unfortunately I will have to let it go despite having a gut shot here. But the thing is, if the jack comes in, then we lose to king 10, which is not a disaster, but there's also a flush draw out there. I just think I'll have to let it go against this tight-ish player. Queen 8 is just a pip below what I would normally open, but because I saw that both blinds are passive, I thought I'd give it a try, and it worked this time. King 5 suited will be a defend against the cutoff open. And on this board, no donks against the cutoff. I could have considered donking against low jack. This is a hand that I would have check raised this one, but the problem is I'm still gonna do it because I have an overcard, I have a backdoor flush draw, and a backdoor straight draw. And he could still be doing this with a hand like ace, jack, or something like that, which would have folded. And we do not pick up any, where we do pick up some additional equity here, which is why we can go with another bet here. We now have a gut shot. And he calls again, and now at this point with a backdoor flush coming in, I think it's time to give up. He probably has a hand. I don't think he has a flush, but he would not fold just because the flush has come in. So unfortunately, I have to give up on this one. And he has pocket nines. Okay. Yeah, this kind of makes sense. Yeah, but I still think it was a decent enough check raise there, even though he bet big, which means that I should check raise less. But I can still check raise some on that. And then on the turn, when we did pick up some equity, I thought I would try again. The thing is, pocket nines, I think he wouldn't necessarily fold there, but if he had called me with like ace king with a backdoor flush draw or something like that, then maybe I could have gotten him off of that, but it wasn't to be this time. So I'm going to sit out next big blind, fold pocket fours in the low jack here. And this is it. Thanks for watching, and have a look at my other content later. Thank you. Bye.